like to call the meeting to order, please. Our clerk is absent, so Herb, would you take the minutes and call the roll call, please?
Mr. Blackstock here. Ms. Blair?
Here.
Mr. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Pat Salas?
Here.
Mr. Boda?
Here.
Mr. Town is excused. Mr. Simons?
Here. Okay, we're all present except for Mr. Town. Okay, would you lead me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next thing up is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda as presented. I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the approval of the minutes of October 16th, 2017.
If there are no additions or deletions, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of October 16, 2017.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of October 16th, 2017. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak about anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move along to the consent agenda. We have the C1, October 4, 2017, Historical Commission minutes. We have the C2, is the October 2017 Building Department report. And we have the C3 is the October 2017 Marine City Fire report.
If there are no questions or comments, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. One comment there, you see our building is doing a little bit better than it has in the past year, so
It's
We
like
got-
everywhere.
we got some housing starts going on in the township.
Yeah, got a couple of them up there in the north end.
Correct. All right, moving on to disbursements. We have invoices of $111,552.28. We have accounts payable, $111,162.42. We have a payroll of $1,609.64. We have a payroll direct deposit of $54,315.89. And we have a void check in there for $23.08. We had the EFT payments of $84,954.97. And we have a tax account of $9,642.29 for a total disbursement of $373,214.41.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $373,214.41.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills in the sum of $373,214.41. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Pat Salas?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Ms. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock, yes. Mr. Boda?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes. Motion carries. We pay the bills. Moving on to new business, we have a 5-year Park Commission Master Plan update, and we have the planner from BMJ, Kim Harmer. And would you like to go to the podium?
No, you can go first and then I'll. me to speak tonight. Just very briefly, my name is Kimberly Harmer. I'm with BMJ Engineering Associates, and we have the responsibility and the honor to be working on your 5-year park and recreation plan. As many of you are familiar, the park plan is for a period of 5 years, and your current one expires December 31st of this year. The process provided under the Michigan Department of Natural Resources is very clear about programs and procedures
for a park plan, and part of that is that we work with the Parks Commission to draw up a draft. That draft will be prepared this week, and we will be having a meeting on Wednesday evening. With their review and approval, the draft will be released for public comments. There's a 30-day public comment period that's required, and it's a time for flexibility. We can take a look at the plan, continue to get the public's comments. It'll be available on your website. There'll be a notice published in the Port Huron Times-Herald. There'll also be a public hearing set by the Parks Commission for sometime, probably the week of December 6th, where the public can come in and also have comments regarding that. We'll accept written comments on the plan until December 13th. The anticipation then is that on the December 13th Park Commission meeting, if they so choose, they would give their recommendation after any adjustments are made to that plan, and then the plan is forwarded on to you for your December, did I say 18th? Your 18th meeting, Park Commission's December 13th meeting. This would allow us to electronically submit to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources before January 1st and get their review and approval before March 1st, which is the goal. This allows you then to stay competitive on any grant applications or funding opportunities that you may come across through the next 5 years. Now, one thing I do want to mention about the plan is that we put a lot of items into your action plan over the next 5 years, knowing full well that with limited resources and the change in communities from time to time, that not everything is going to be able to be funded or completed. However, think of it as your capital improvement program or Santa's wish list, in that you want to put everything that you can imagine into the plan and make sure that your goals and your objectives are broad enough so that if an opportunity arises to partnership, either with a private partner, a public partner, or a federal or state funding resource, that you can refer back to your plan and note where the plan addressed that need. So it's going to be a very broad plan, not a lot of specifics, except for, and I'll draw your attention to the sheet that you were probably given the latter part of last week, and I do have extras if anyone needs. But we were asking for you to take a look at what was in this current plan, note anything that you thought was completed, or maybe you felt needed to be deleted, it just did not seem appropriate for the community at this time, or that you wanted to have us keep in the plan. And then there were also some blank forms divided into 5 years, where if you wanted to add items that you think we should take under consideration, that those are placed there as well. If anyone has those available this evening, I'd be happy to take them back with me to the office. If not, I can be back to the office here on Friday morning, and I'll pick those up, and we'll incorporate those into the draft. Again, the draft for 30 days during the comment period is a very fluid document. So please, if you think of something else, anytime between now and December 13th, feel free to either let me know, you've got my email address, or give me a call, or let Cindy know, or anyone on staff, and we'll make sure that we take those into consideration as well. All right? Thank you again for the opportunity tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Question, you know, in all your year plans that we've had in the past, it goes possible funding for all these projects. Do you do a percentage on how much we actually get? I mean, it seems like we apply for grants and we don't get them. The one on the pickleball court, we got right to the final thing with the DEQ, or DNR.
It was the DNR Recreation Passport Grant.
And then we fall out because of our medium income of our township or something, like that, wasn't it, Cindy?
We lost points because of the.
Portion.
So it doesn't seem like we get very many grants. What's the reason for that?
Well, and I can't speak for DEQ, of course, but I can let you know that it is a very highly competitive program. Over the last 4 years, there have been a huge jump in the number of communities that are looking for funding resources. And if you think back to about 15, 20 years ago, when a lot of these communities had a run of success in getting recreation programs started and branched off onto their own and did a lot of parks and land acquisitions and things, this is just about the time where everyone's looking to make those repairs. The scoring system does favor, in all honesty, income areas that are lower than what you have here. You have a medium income household income of somewhere in the range of $53,000 a year. But you can score higher in other areas as well. You're on the waterfront, and that's very attractive to DEQ. You have a very strong community as far as your partnerships with the schools, with other organizations and private donors. They're looking for things like that. The passport grant that you spoke of for the pickleball courts, that is highly competitive, and the amount of funding is very small, so it's difficult for them to spread that around. There's not a lot available for them to give to the communities. And you're also competing with some larger areas, planning and metropolitan recreation type areas that come in as a consortium or as a regional group. So it is difficult, but I would not in any way discourage you from continuing to make those applications. It's just, you have to take a look at the scores, and then just like when we were all in school, take a look at the question on the test, revert, and give your answer to reflect exactly what the question was. And these scores are not very subjective. There's not a lot of room for wiggle on them. They don't sit down and negotiate with you. They sit in a room and give them a very quick and hard scoring system. In fact, scores just came out today for the communities that applied last March. And it's a tough business. It really is.
Are we in the norm with other communities of our size up and down the river here, or as far as getting these grants? It just seems like we don't, and we spend a lot of money to do this 5-year plan, and the main reason to do the 5-year plan is what you said, to get grants, which to me now we're spending all this money, but we're not getting anything back.
And that is true, but keep in mind there's other reasons for the plan as well. It allows you to compete with some other types of grants that come up, not through the DEQ or DNR, but other programs. For instance, I'm working on one for another community right now, and it's not through DNR, but they want to know where we can cite in the recreation plan that this is an actual need that the community has identified. So there's a variety of other sources out there that you want to use this plan for. If you're collecting money through the millage or through your taxes and putting it to the Parks Commission for recreation, the plan also backs you up as far as what the community is requesting or desiring and how you're spending their funds. So there are some things. I don't know if you have a lot of communication with the St. Clair County Parks and Rec Commission now.
Well,
You
we're
get
getting
their
ready to go to
millage.
them right now over, I'm going to meet with them over getting this bike path that we're in the Beta Bay. We were one of the first communities to have
Yes,
the
you
Beta
were.
Bay bike path done, and we spend tens of thousands of dollars a year trying to maintain it. And comment was made, we're almost paying as much to maintain it as it costs to put the thing in. So shouldn't we be getting some help in that from the county?
Yes, and you're right. And
Or
again,
somebody,
using this plan as your base.
well, the
take a
bike
look at
trail
it.
is not in this plan though, is
It
it?
will be, yes, it will be.
Yeah, it is.
But the bike trail is only that runs through the park, it's not the whole system, is it?
Correct, but your rec and park plan takes all private and public recreation sites into consideration. And as I said, we try to make it a very broad and probably wide-range list. Sometimes the comment is maybe it's a little too broad, again, knowing that you're not going to be able to do everything on that. But by having it on the list, it gives you that opportunity to have those kinds of discussions.
Okay,
We left the non-motorized trail system.
I see it here, yeah.
We left that in there specifically for the next 5 years in case there was some help for resurfacing and redoing the bike trail. And
Okay.
that's not a part responsibility, but it is something that the township
Correct.
does spend a lot of money.
Township
so we
board,
made sure
yeah.
we left that in there.
Are the grants all based on the score, or is it like first come, first serve, or it's all on the score?
The DNR grants are all based on the score, yes.
Okay.
Everyone has the same deadline to apply, that's April 1st. If your plan has been approved by DNR by March 1st, and it's strictly a score basis. Now, I can tell you, though, what we found from last year's experience. The scores, when they came out, and then there was, about a week later, a sheet that went around that gave your rank based on scores, from high to low. Some communities that had a high score did not necessarily get either their full amount that they requested or that particular year a full amount of the grant. So at the DNR's level, there is some discretion that they use. Probably you see more of that with the passport grant because it's smaller.
Okay.
But again, it's more competitive too.
Right.
Some communities will apply for more than one. Same project, but two different sources with the DNR. The DNR will then come back and say, we would prefer if you would consider doing passport or Natural Resources Trust Fund. It allows them some flexibility if they feel that they need to have something in this area.
Okay.
Ms. Harmer?
Yes.
Is your company a resource for us to give us a list of grant money that's available?
In this plan, there'll be a list of resources. I won't put in a lot of detail because, to be honest with you, that changes quite frequently. For instance, in your last 5-year plan, there was a grant source in there that that other communities have tried to use, and it has been removed, but it's been rebranded. So I'm going to put the new brand name in your app, but I won't give you a lot of details on that. I'll give you a website, and I'll give you some broad information.
So that's up to East China ourselves to dig in and look for money. Okay, thank you.
Only because I'm afraid that it won't be pertinent at the time that you go to look, and you really want the most up-to-date information. Those things change.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kim. Are you to speak, Cindy?
Yeah, just for a minute. My name's Cindy Bodan. I'm the chair of the Park Commission. I know there's a lot of people that know what's been done in the park the last 5 years. Some things were on the 5-year plan, some things were maintenance, things that needed to be done. I don't know how many of the board members have been over, seen the pickleball and the new basketball courts. We resurfaced those. That was on our 5-year plan. We redid the main bridge that goes behind the Pavilion 1 and the bathrooms there. It's goes back through the woods. We redid that whole bridge last fall, winter. We've done quite a few of the bleacher backs, the high bleachers, and that was grants through Burnham and Flower, our insurance company, through the power plan. And we applied 2 different years to get all 6 of those bleachers done so that the backs were safe, so nobody's falling off. This summer, we did 3 new bridge tops, the other 3 bridges that go through the park to softball and soccer and towards the sledding hill. All 3 of those bridge tops this year were redone. Some of this was on the 5-year plan, like I said, some of it wasn't. We've tried to hit certain things in each park. Manor Park, 2 years ago, we resurfaced the basketball court and the parking area, restriped that. The hardball fields, we redid the backstops on both fields and some of the fencing. A couple years ago, we spent quite a bit on those 2 fields. The new signs for the bike path was on the 5-year plan. The county did that, and the whole bike path from top to bottom has all new signs that tell north and south and which way everything goes. We did a new automatic gates at this soccer field so that anybody that gets in there that can't get out, they can come up to the gate and the gate's open and then reclose behind them. So that's done. The main gate was also done the year before. We didn't change gates at the main gate. We did add the automatic operator. We've done the canoe and kayak launch a couple years ago. That was on our 5-year plan. A lot went into that. We saved money for about 3 years in order to do that, and then the board also helped us with the rest of that. Disc golf has been on our plan for quite a while. We wanted 18 holes. We did 9 for a few years, and now we have 18. We have the signs for the tees. The last thing that we want to do is concrete pads, and we have had some interest in people donating those. So we're hoping to get that done next year and have people have some, sponsor one of the tee pads, so we're hoping to get the money for those through that. 2-3 years ago, we resealed and cleaned the playscape. The playscape is aging. It had mold on it. We had somebody come in and power wash it. It was quite expensive to clean it and reseal it. And it's going to be looked at, make sure it's safe before we do anything else like that. We may have to start thinking of how to replace sections of that playscape. Right now, we're working, there's going to be a new culvert put in the back, the west side of the park. As you see the bridge that goes to softball, there's a creek that goes out to Bell River. And there was a bridge there, and it was damaged a couple years ago. It's quite a heavily used area, and we have a culvert that's going in. Schweihofer Excavating is going to be doing that. And they're waiting for it to dry out a little bit. The culvert's been there for 2-3 weeks, and they don't want to do any more damage getting it back there than they have to. So that'll give us a path. It'll let our DPW come in from that side over the culvert. So we're working on the softball dugouts right now. On the fencing, the dugouts over there are quite bad. So this fall, that's going to be done, some fencing on the softball field. We have new benches on the bike path. Those were donated. New grills. We have new grills that are going to be ordered before the end of the year and installed next year for the pavilions and River Park. We've done quite a bit of maintenance. It wasn't on the 5-year plan. A few years ago, we had a break in the softball bathroom. The floor broke, so we at that time decided to divide things up a little bit better. There was a big storage closet in that bathroom, and we put 2 stalls in each side. There was only 1 on each side, so we spent some money on that. And one other big project that we did was redoing the floors in the main bathrooms and new counters and sinks. That was quite bad in there. So I know there's other things, maintenance things that have been done, but those were the high points, the things that really took a lot to. Herb, am I forgetting anything?
No, I think you have covered everything. You've done a lot over there. I mean, it's a credit to your board and the staff over there. There's been a lot done in the last 3 to 4 years.
Our park manager does a wonderful job. She's got her finger on things. She knows what's going on, and she's always looking ahead to know what's going to be needed and what people use. And does anybody have any questions of me?
Is the park closed now, Cindy?
Yes.
November 1st, is that?
November 1st, but if there's been nice days, she's opened the main gate. But the park is closed, yeah.
The bathrooms are down?
The bathrooms are all closed up except for the sledding hill bathroom.
Okay.
That will be open all winter. So if there's a nice day and we can open the gates, we'll do that. I have an opener, I try to do that. And please be respectful when it gets dark to get out. Go home.
Thank you.
So-
Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to new business item 2. Add past due water and sewer bills to the 2017 winter tax roll. You have it before you, the list. It's $64,566.22. So, we guess we need a motion to add that. It's something we do every year.
Yeah, we do this every year.
I'll make that motion that we put the past due water bills on the taxes.
I'll
tax
support.
roll.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add the past due water and sewer bills onto the 2017 winter taxes. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Patsalis,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Ms. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock, yes.
Motion passes. We add them to the taxes. All right, moving on to new business 3. We have to set a public hearing for the budget. I'm suggesting that we do it November the 20th, 2017, at 7:15. That'll be 15 minutes before our next regular board meeting,
I'm sorry, what time was that?
7:15. So if somebody wants to make that motion,
I'll make a motion that we set our public hearing for our budgets for November 20th, 2017 at 7:15 PM.
I'll support.
okay, it's been moved and supported that we set the budget hearing for November 20th, 2017 at 7:15. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're moving on to unfinished business, and that's the PCE Urban Drive lift station. We tabled that at our last meeting 2 weeks ago. And I think I kind of suggested that we do that, reason being not knowing where the money's going to come from. The bill is roughly $107,795. That's an estimate, for the project. In my research, I found that we can take it out of the sewer fund. We won't know what the sewer fund balance is until the end of the year. Right now, it's a negative because it's in between billings. But according to our accountant, if the sewer fund does not have enough money in it, it automatically goes to the sewer fund balance, which we have ample money in there to cover the $107,000. So it's just, if we approve it, it's fine. We'll take whatever is left from this year in the fund balance, and then if that's not enough, then it goes into the big fund balance account that we have in the bank, and the money will be taken out of there.
Did he mention, Larry, how long that would last us, or how many years that would?
I don't know how you can do that, but right now it's pumping at 50% or less. So one has to pump to this one, and then,
Yeah, it just
so,
comes up Point Drive, and then comes over here, and then goes to
right.
the plant.
So they all got to kind of be in sequence and be
Right.
flowing at the same rate. And now this one, and we really want to get this one done because in the spring, we get a lot of water coming from that Bell River side and going to the Urban Drive. So,
You don't want to overload that station to overload these here.
well, we don't want to overload the whole system and then
That's right.
it don't work, and then we start backing up. We don't want backups.
You
So.
know, I was looking at the cover letter from PCE, it states in the background, it says that 6 of the East China stations were 40 years old, constructed between 1963 and 67. So, I mean, they're getting a little tired.
Oh,
Stations have been
most
running
definitely.
Stations have been running a long time. And it says all 6 stations are in need of upgrade and pump replacement. That's, to me, that's only normal because of the age of the system.
And this is also going to go in hand with what the state is advising us to have this asset managed, not advising us, or mandating us to have it by January 1, the water side. I think the sewer's a few days later. We're going to have a plan of action that we're going to do for this stuff, because we're not the only municipality that has this problem. I think everybody's got it, because you don't go fixing stuff until it gets broke. Well, we don't want to have big water main leaks like they got in Detroit and all that.
Then you're in a panic.
If you get us,
Right.
Break it down,
get
you're
an
in a panic,
influx
you'll
of
do
building,
anything to
why,
get it fixed.
then you got another problem too.
Right. I think it's something we should start doing. I think this is a small start. I mean, We have the Recor one down here at, which is our newest lift station. That's in pretty good shape.
That's your biggest station.
That's the biggest station, because we moved the sewer plant, that we have to have everything goes to that one, and then we go out from there. So, if everybody's good with it, I guess a motion to start that would be in order. And I don't know if we can say the amount. This is an estimate, projected estimate cost?
We're only approving to release piece of project control for the engineering, correct?
To get the engineering?
Isn't that what we're here today to do? I mean, their engineering's at $19,685. We're not approving, we don't know what the bids are due.
Engineering was.
You have to go bidding yet before we get.
Well, they're just giving us an estimate, that's about what it's gonna cost.
Exactly, but today on the agenda, you're just asking for approval on the engineering. We're not going to approve $107,000 from an estimate, correct?
Correct, yeah. We had to have concrete bid,
It's
yeah.
20%.
And we'll probably have to bid it from more than one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why we tabled it before, because we didn't want, I didn't think we should spend the 19,000 and not knowing if we had the money to
Right.
proceed with to do the whole station.
Okay, so we're going for 19,685.
Yeah. And that'll get the ball rolling, and then when it comes back, which I think will be soon, because we want to get that done before spring.
Right.
Well, we gotta start.
I'll make a
somewhere.
motion that, the project control engineering be awarded the job of repairing the lift station on, Urban Drive, and for a cost not to exceed $19,685.
I will support.
That's just the engineering, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a support that we allow PCE to do the engineering not to exceed $19,685. Everybody understand what we're talking about? Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Pat Salas,
Yes.
Mr. Boda,
Yes.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock, yes.
Okay, motion carries, we'll get that done. Moving on to announcements. The only announcement I have, the Township Hall will be closed Friday in observance for Veterans Day. And I'd also like to thank the Marine City football team for a fine year that they had, even though we lost, but I think we lost to a good team, and I think we exceeded our expectations for the year. We did real well with a young team that we have, so. Moving on to board comments. Mr. Horn.
Well, I'd like to give thanks to the football team. They done a good job. It's just, we didn't go far enough. But you gotta end somewhere. Congratulations. That's all I have.
Mr. Pasalis.
I know I asked this question about a month or two ago. The logo, are we still? Oh, there you go. How about it? I thought we were supposed to get a draft to look at it, but I guess we didn't get the
No, I
draft.
questioned the guy, yeah.
He's
there
not
was
gonna
a
let that go,
communication
Will.
gap. But fortunately, when he brought it here, I thought he did a nice job.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize. And again, I'd like to congratulate the Mariner football team also. I thought they did an outstanding job. They were MAC Gold champs this year, and a couple breaks. I mean, the team could have gone undefeated this year, and I really think they could have made a deeper run, but for what they did was pretty awesome, and congratulations to them for their MAC Gold championships.
Mr. Boda?
I also would like to congratulate the Marine City football team. May not have gone all the way this year, but there's next year. And I have one other thing, it's the bike path out here. The guy that worked on it, the company that came in there and got rid of the weeds and the grass and resurfaced it, did a fine job. I
Good.
think I've driven by enough times to look at it. And he did a real nice job.
A lot of work, yeah.
So I have nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Blackstock?
Just congrats to the team and good job, coaches. That's it.
Ms. Blair?
I would like to say thank you to Cindy for all the work that her park commission and herself have done with the park. It's a beautiful park, there's a lot of people that enjoy it, and I know how much time that you spend trying to keep it developing. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I had just a couple things. One was the new sign. I was waiting to see who was going to see it, and there was a little mix-up on how it was presented, but I met the actual designer that built it. He came to hang it. We still got to do a little bit of cleanup work here. We may paint the wall or something, and do some other decorating to accent it a little bit more. I picked the height, I don't know.
It was good.
High enough, low enough, whatever. It's movable. The other thing I wanted to talk about, we had a resident come in this past week about the fire hydrant down here on M29 by North, Clover Lawn, North Lawn down here. We are working on that fire hydrant. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get it fixed, but it's just been one thing on top of another. The fire hydrant, when it was there, was obsolete. We ordered an adapter to adapt to the new type fire hydrants that we're using. The adapter come, it took like a month or two to get here. It's the wrong one. It's a 6-inch and not a 4-inch. To make a long story short, we've been working on this diligently. The board has been active. 2 weeks ago, we approved Telto to come in and do a new tap on the main so we can adapt this new valve for the fire hydrant. That was 2 weeks ago we did that. I got with Telto here last week. They're going to be here Wednesday of this week to put all the stuff in. The board has went out and purchased, it's roughly $8,500 to replace this fire hydrant, and the board has already done that. We have got no insurance money. We're talking with insurance companies who's supposed to pay for this. I mean, is it East China's obligation to replace a fire hydrant that somebody knocks down? We're working on it. We have our attorney working on it, so there'll be more to come, but I feel bad, and but to let you know too, when a fire hydrant is knocked down, the first thing that the DPW superintendent does is call the fire department and tell them that that fire hydrant is out of order. And we have, the superintendent was flushing fire hydrants this week, and a couple of the fire hydrants didn't work. There was a pin was broke in them, so when they're flushing them, they turn them on, they don't work, so they call right away to the fire hall and tell them, this fire hydrant don't work, and then we repaired it, because we had the tooling to repair that fire hydrant. But in talking to the fire chief, the protocol for a fire is to send out the engine and a tanker. The engine, I think, has 1,000 or 1,200 gallons in it. The tanker truck has 4,000 plus gallons of water in it, and they don't hook onto a fire hydrant unless the fire is, they determine when they get to the fire what they're going to hook up to, or if they're just going to use the truck. So we are aware of, that the fire hydrant is out, and we are working on it. So if that person wants to call me, I've left my number, he can call me back. With that, that's all I have. So I guess a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn at 8, looks like 08.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have
I'll second it.
we have a motion and a support to adjourn at 8:08. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.